Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me here on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So today from Heaven Hill Distillery, we're taking a look at their Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Bourbon. This is coming in at 94 proof or 47% ABV. Mash bill on this, 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. So a very classic Heaven Hill or Elijah Craig mash bill. Age statement on this, no age statement. And MSRP on this is right around that $55 price point. So give or take, maybe $5, maybe upwards of $10, depending on, where you are. So typically what I try to do with my reviews, we'll go through the color, we'll go through the nosing, we'll go through the tasting, and then really get into anything else having to do with the whiskey itself. So a big thank you to today's sponsor, Into the AM. If you're looking for quality, comfort, and durability in your clothing line, well, look no further. The sweatshirt I've got on right now in today's review is the perfect example of that. And today, if you want to save an additional 10% off, make sure you check out the link in the description below. That will again give you an additional 10% off of your entire order. In addition to sweatshirts, they also have t-shirts, other types of apparel. So make sure you go and check out Into the AM. And again, click that link in the description below, save yourself an additional 10% off. Why don't we go ahead and kind of get into the review and we'll see what we've got. So first, color-wise, as you can see, this has a really, really nice, deep, kind of like almost mahogany color. Typically, the Elijah Craig has some pretty decent age to it. So you're already starting out with a bourbon that's got probably upwards of, they've even said with this stuff, between like 6 and even upwards of 12 years on some of the small batch stuff. So if they are using an aged bourbon, and just proofing it down to 94. Again, it's sat in the barrel for a little while. You're gonna get some of those, really nice, deep, kind of rich mahogany, deep copper type of colors. So, and again, with this going into a toasted barrel, not that that generally will change the appearance or anything of it, but we know it's definitely gonna change the taste of it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the nose here. For me, right away, you get this really nice, like rich, like sweet oak presence to it. A really nice kind of great baking spices, a lot of like a nutmeg and cinnamon. Nice char note that's there too. So I don't know exactly what the char level that they use for the Elijah Craig, but there's a really nice char to this one. And that could be part of the char and the toasted aspect to it kind of being combined here a little bit. Maybe even a touch of butterscotch on that as well. Really nice, rich, like creme brulee, that sweetness, which is probably where now the toasted aspect is gonna start to kind of play a factor. Really nice, rich, dark fruits on this one. Little bit of that classic nutty characteristic that you get from a lot of the Heaven Hill stuff. Yeah, that really nice, again, that rich creme brulee, nice nutmeg, cinnamons on this, that rich oak that's there. And maybe with the toasted part of it, you do start to get a little bit of that toasted marshmallow. Now, what I have to say with this is, I allowed this bottle to be open for over a month before I did the review of it. I knew a lot of times my experience with toasted barrels are that as they sit open and they kind of get, down a little bit below the neck, they start to really improve. A lot of the flavors really start to come out in these a lot more than if you just taste it straight off of an open bottle or a fresh crack. You don't get the full aspect of this bourbon in my opinion, so. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a black pepper and stuff there too. So this now with the taste, we'll get an idea of really how this is kind of opened up over the course of about a month or so, like I said before. All right, let's give this a try. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, just from the time that I opened it first and now, it is improved drastically. So I would say immediately when you get this bottle, try it right away, see what you think, and then just put it away. Let it sit for maybe a month if you can wait that long. I think you'll really be rewarded. The richness really starts to come out a lot in this one, and the flavors just have improved drastically with this. Yeah, for me, the toasted aspect is much more present now that it's kind of opened up a little bit than it was like right away. The palate, you know, that you get, or what I get on the palate now is night and day compared to when I first opened it to now. You're getting a lot of, again, the rich, creamy, like creme brulee, that nice vanilla note that's there. Great baking spice. Again, a lot of those nutmegs, the cinnamon, all of that kind of translates over from the nose to the palate. Yeah, and more of the creme brulee part of it, where you kind of, that starts to become a lot of what the toasted aspect is. It's almost like a rich vanilla custard as well. It's a really nice sweet vanilla custard. That rich kind of sweet, again, oak that's there. And I know that's kind of a weird way to describe like oak, but there's this time where you just get this like sweetness and that oak that kind of combine itself, and you get that combo to me. So it's like a nice, rich, deep, like sweet oak type of presence. Definitely some butterscotch there as well. A little bit more of that barrel char on this as well, which is definitely not something you typically get on just the standard Elijah Craig small batch. You don't get really, you know, much, or shouldn't say any, but you don't get much of that. So, and even with this, I would say, as I've kind of sipped on it a little bit, more of that kind of either dark chocolate or kind of almost like a baker's or an unsweetened chocolate. You still get the chocolate note, just not overly sweet on the chocolate side of it, but you're still getting maybe like a cacao or something along those lines, where you're still getting a little bit of the chocolate aspect of it, but not the overall like chocolate sweetness, if that makes any sense. And then also, as I've kind of been talking, a little bit of like a rye bread aspect kind of came out in this a little bit. It was very more so than just like a normal rye note. This was specifically like almost like a rye bread type of note on that. Really, it's a really nice bourbon. I don't think I would have said that. Actually, I know I wouldn't have said that early on. For me, like I said before, this is hands down a bourbon that I think needs to be opened and put away, and then you go back to it, you know, shortly thereafter, maybe a month or so. Anytime after that, I think, you know, probably what it's going to do is not, you know, overly, you know, kind of complex at that point. I think once you get into a month or so, what it's doing is going to be, you know, what it is. So finish wise, I think it's a nice finish. It's probably on the medium side. It's not as long as I would like it to be, but again, that lingering like sweet oakness that's there, or oak that's there, great spice that's there. Again, those nutmegs and cinnamons definitely translate really throughout the entire experience. Again, the creamy vanilla, like a creamy custard almost. Nice dark fruit aspect. And again, you have that toasted aspect to it for sure. There is that char kind of marshmallow kind of combo that's there, and it really rounds out this bourbon. So I'm very happy that I held off doing the review of this until, again, like I mentioned before, I let this thing open up. I think it's very, very important to get the full aspect of this bourbon, to again let it sit, let some oxygen hit that, and kind of do some wonders with that. So there you have it. I mean, I think overall It's a really nice bourbon. And again, I hate to continue to kind of harp on it, but when you get it, open it, see what you think. Just don't judge it based off of the neck pour. Let this thing sit, and I think you'll be rewarded thereafter. So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. Also, if you've had this already, let me know your thoughts and your experiences with this. I always love to hear the feedback from other people as to kind of just what it is you're experiencing with the whiskey itself. So with that being said, again, thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. And as always, remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.